Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic / Non-Classic. This is episode 590 and Doubleshot number 484. Two Avenger trades, like I mentioned last episode. First up is a really thick book. This is New Avengers by Brian Michael Bendis, the Complete Collection, Volume 6. Now, those were thinking, why haven't I reviewed the first 5 books yet? Well, this is what the library had, so I figured why not. This book collects the first 16 issues of New Avengers Volume 2. Of course, Bendis does the writing, with artwork by various different artists on here. For the first 7 issues, it's Stuart Imden. Issue A is done by Daniel Kuna. Mike Nidau Jr. does issues 19 and 13, and the final 3 issues is also done by Mike Nidau Jr., though issues 9 and 13 also is done by Howard Chaykin. Yeah. The first, now, pretty much this is like right after the Avengers Siege. So Luke Cage is given his own Avengers team. And he's given his own, base operations at the Avengers Mansion. Which he buys for $1. Yep. And his lineup is actually quite unique, the way he chose. He chose, besides himself, he also has his wife, Jessica Jones. Miss Marvel, Carol Danvers. Doctor Strange, Wolverine. No, Dr. Voodoo does not become part of the roster. Mockingbird, Spider-Man, and The Thing. Though Doctor Strange does join a little bit later. He does join after the first arc of the series, which takes the first 6 issues of the series. Yeah, which it's basically kind of like a Doctor Strange type of story, guest starring the New Avengers. I think that at the time, Bendis wanted to do a Doctor Strange series, but my guess is there probably wasn't the interest at the time, so we figured, okay, I'll tell this Doctor Strange story in the pages of my first arc for New Avengers. Oh, and Steve Rogers, he shows up, I think he shows up issue 1 and issue 7. Yep. And it's up with Agamotto. Iron Fist gets Iron Fist is in here as well. He gets a brand new costume, a white costume, which he wears, for the most part, up until recently, he wears that costume. He wears a costume for a long time. Yeah, and they mentioned the whole thing with the H1 who actually did die back. I think it was Marvel feature number Marvel premiere number 14. That's when he died. Yep. Also, they have Squirrel Girl become part of the series as a supporting character, where she becomes the nanny for Danielle Cage. Also, it was very heavily implied that she and Wolverine had a one-night stand. Yeah, not kidding. It's very heavily implied about that, especially by the way their dialogue works. Also, they get their own liaison, Victoria Hand, the woman who happened to be the deputy director of Hammer. Hammer is in here as well. Also, during the date night issue, great issue by the way, they get to fight a Doombot. Awesome. They even have a flashback thing of the Avengers 1959, which... Here's the lineup for the Avengers 1959. There's actually a cover for this thing. Let's see if we can find it here. Here we go. The lineup is, get this, Nick Fury, Dum Dum Dugan, Ulysses Bloodstone, Nevertia. This is the original one from the 50s, not the one from New Warriors. Kraven the Hunter, and Sabretooth. Yes, this is commonly referred to as Avengers 1959. Yep. And they even go on a special mission where they go take out a group of Nazis in Brazil. Oh, and it's kind of implied that Kraven the Hunter is Nevertia's boyfriend, even though that these two, prior to history, never met. Most of these characters, pretty much all of them except for Kraven the Hunter, I don't have a problem with them being there. Kraven the Hunter, that's questionable why the heck he's even here for, because I'm wondering though, how old is Kraven the Hunter? Is he in his 40s, his 50s? He doesn't look it. Probably because of the drugs he's been on over the years. I could explain why. But Howard Chaykin that does a fantastic job with that. And that particular feature with the whole Avengers 1959 sets up the miniseries 1959, which has the Blonde Phantom briefly join the group during their mission. Yep. And the team's put together by Nick Fury. Yep, Nick Fury pops up in here as well. Excuse me. No, this is a few years before he's revealed. Oh yeah, he's actually an LMD, and Nick Fury's old, and he becomes a Watcher. During the opening story arc, Dr. Voodoo dies. Yep, and he remains dead for 4 years. Yes, this death actually sticks. Oh, does Bendis bring him back? No, this death is actually undone by Rick Remender. Yep, Rick Remender undoes a Bendis death. Yeah, I'm not kidding about that. And Bendis is the one who made Dr. Voodoo, well, originally was Brother Voodoo. He made him the Sorcerer Supreme. And then for the next 2 years, there is no Sorcerer Supreme. And then during the Fear Itself issues, which, by the way, the 3 Fear Itself issues in here, which one is focused on Mockingbird, of course, during that second arc, she gets shot in the gut, and then she gets healed up via a combination of the Super Soldier Syndrome, Serum, and the Infinity Formula. The formula kept Nick Fury young for years. And the first issue is focused on her and witnessing something that's the most shocking thing possible. The fall of the destruction of Avengers Tower. For the second time this has happened, the tower's been knocked down. Oh, this time it was basically the Thing throwing the Red Hulk into it. Not kidding, that's basically what happened with that. They even had an issue focused on Squirrel Girl, where she's running away from Nazi robots. Yeah. And the final issue is a focus on Daredevil, who saves Danielle Cage and Squirrel Girl from Nazi robots. And for Luke Cage, because it is Avengers, as a reward for saving his and Jessica Jones' daughter, he gets to become part of the new Avengers, which he stays until the final issue of the volume. Yeah, he basically remains an Avenger for like 18 issues. Yeah, 18 issues later the volume ends. Yeah. But these set of issues are fantastic. I love the Howard Chaykin 1959 stuff. I love every single bit of this, and Bendis does a fantastic job with this. This, of course, was the start of the Heroic Age type of stuff. Yeah, Bendis, of course, would lead the book 2 years later, but this is fantastic. I think it's like one other book come out for this, because the first, 5 books collect his first volume. I think that the 7th book collects, the last 18 issues, plus the annuals. But this is great. I give this a 9.5 out of 10. It's really good. Also, Wong becomes their manservant. Because, Jarvis is Avengers Tower, so they seem like Jarvis. So Dr. Tree's like, I know a guy. I'll call up Wong. Yep. Great job, Bendis, bringing back Wong. All right. Next up is Avengers and Champions. Worlds Collide. Collecting Avengers number 672 to 674 and Champions volume 2 issues 13-15. Yeah, first trade I've actually reviewed the actually collect issues from the current volume Champions. All 6 parts are written by Mark Waid. Humberto Ramos does the Champions issues, and Jesus Silas does the Avengers issues. Yeah, the whole thing of Worlds Collide is that these two team up to deal stuff with Counter-Earth. And this is the first story to deal with Counter-Earth since Rick Remender's Counter-Evolutionary story back in 2015. Yeah, this came out last year. This is the first to feature Counter-Earth in 2 years last year. And of course, this is part of the Marvel Legacy stuff. And I gotta hand it to this crossover, it's really good. And the one thing that's very inconsistent, even though it's all written by the same writer, Waid writes the Avengers as basically being dicks in their own book, and then in the Champions book, they're written to be perfectly fine. It's really bizarre. And Miss Mara points out, though, the fact that Sam runs over her team several times, basically disrespects the team. Now, the Champions at this point, because they got a new lineup right now and a new writer, which is Jim Zeb, this lineup consisted of Amadeus Cho-Hulk, Viv Vision, Sam Alexander, Nova, Miles Morales, Spider-Man, Cyclops, and Miss Marvel. The Avengers, still at this point, is Hercules, Jane Foster Thor, Nydia Pym Wasp, Sam Wilson, who's gone back being the Falcon. Really, this was really stupid of Marvel to do. I like the costume though. The Vision, Spider-Man, and well, of course, Peter Parker Spider-Man, and that's it. Yep. And the whole point of this is to stop the Evolutionary. And this storyline does set up the final 3 issues of Wade's run for the book, which has, well, Vision become human for a few issues, and of course her father creating another, well, Vision, a robot, though they do later merge to become one person. And Cyclops, who had joined the team in issue 2, I believe it was. Yeah. The champions by far, now according to Wade, now when it was announced with all the cancellations happening this year, Wade basically told everybody Champions is not being axed. And thank God it's not being axed, because Champions is a fantastic book. I love this lineup. And as of currently, only just Cyclops is off the team. The lineup is pretty much the same right now, except they replaced him with Nydia Pym, who moved over from the Avengers book to Champions, which is a good idea because she and Vision are the daughters of basically well-known powerhouse Avengers. Though Nydia's father has been dead for, as of right now, 3 years. Oh, and yes, she did briefly have her own ongoing series, which was axed for no explained reason after just 8 issues. And she's a great character. I love this character. She's a fangirl, believe it or not. Yeah. And also, at one point, they mentioned that Sam has actually been to Counter-Earth. So, the Avengers, well, they actually swap out Hercules with Sam Alexander to go to Counter-Earth. And they even had this thing where Hercules has to team up with Amadeus Cho because they're old friends. Yeah. This, by far, it's actually a pretty good story. And it does set some stuff up later, mostly in the pages of Champions. But for Champions, it sets the storyline Champions for a Day, which is a 3-issue storyline. For Avengers, right after the storyline wrapped up, we had No Surrender, which is currently going on right now, which is actually almost done. Yeah. And this is very sad. Wade is leaving the book as soon as this event is over with. Uh-huh. Yep. Yeah, there's about 2 more parts left. And then Jason Aaron takes over the book with what was supposed to be issue 691. Yep. I got handed to Wade. This was a good idea. Because why not? At least the Champions had actually been around for a full year before he did this crossover. Unlike DC, when they did their first crossovers, the books had not been around for barely a year. Like, take for example, The Calling or Night of Owls. Though at least Night of Owls had a good build up to it. At least he waited a full 12 issues into Champions before doing a crossover. Got praised for that. And every single character is written to be exactly the way you're supposed to be written. And Wade himself, basically, you can tell by reading this, he's a fan, a longtime fan of all these characters. Oh yeah, and there's a joke about Sam Alexander. Yeah, he calls Cyclops the 40-year-old teenager. Because, well, it's the Time Dispatch Cyclops. I'm going to get this book a 9.5 out of 10. It's a really good story. And as far as I know for Wade's run for Avengers, there's like one more trade I probably got to review, and that's the No Surrender stuff. Champions is the first trade that collect issues of his run for Champions. There's like 3 other trades. Yep, I haven't reviewed them yet, but I'm going to recommend the library to get them. So, 9.5 out of 10. Yeah, and also, they also have a couple, I should point this out though, they have a couple covers that are homage to classic covers. Like, for example, this one right here done by Mike Aldred. This is a nod to, I believe this was an issue, I don't remember what issue this was of Champions, not Champions, it was, I think it was of Silver Surfer, where it was the Avengers versus the Titanic 3. Yeah, that's a great cover for that one. This is a cover homage to one of the annuals for Evolutionary War, which this has not happened, but it's a great cover. And I got handed to Don Murata and Mega Wilson to do this for doing this fantastic cover. Yep. So 9.5 out of 10. All right, so that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, which I have one IDW trade and one DC trade coming up in the next episode. Okay, but until I see you all there in the next episode, bye.